Hi everyone! When writing fugues, after the introduction of the subject, which has its own structure and contour around which other parts may be fitted, acting in this way like a cantus firmus, getting to the next destination, typically the re-entry of the subject-answer pair, can be challenging, as now the subject's melodic support has gone. The lack of support can often lead to a lack of direction in the fugue's parts. In fugal textures, despite the getting to the next destination often involving an episode whose structure may provide direction in the parts, there are still compositional decisions needed for the episode's construction. In this video, I'll explore some features of Bach's Fugue number 11 in F which may have influenced these decisions. Obviously, this type of discussion is problematic as we don't know what Bach was thinking. It isn't my intention, however, to claim I have found Bach's compositional method, but simply to look at features, especially those in the bars preceding the episodes, which may have influenced his decisions. Any discussion of the compositional steps, therefore, are purely hypothetical. Before this, however, we must look at the subject-answer pair. Fugue number 11 is a three-part fugue whose answer is tonal, with the subject's ascent of a second answered with a leap of a third. The subject's contour includes a 5/4/3 descent moving in the tonic key of F major from C to A, while the answer outlines 117 moving from F to E. A concluding descent taking the subject's contour to the first degree and the answers to the fifth degree, while often present, is not part of the subject-answer pair. It is also often omitted, such as here, where a subject entry in D minor is concluded with a rest after its third degree is sounded. Or the concluding descent is delayed, such as here, where after the third degree of an F major entry is sounded, the line initially leaps away, but then includes the descent later in the bar. Because there's no overlap between the subject and answer, Bach could have used a real answer, although use of that answer type suggests a move into the subdominant key, something Bach may have wanted to avoid. These notes, however, do follow the contour of a real answer, but stop when the exposition's final subject entry begins in the lowest part. Despite his use of a tonal answer, Bach only uses the answer twice throughout the entire work, with both occurring in the tonic key of F major. The B natural accidental present in the answer's contour should probably be heard here as an incomplete lower neighbour note to C, sounding the root note of C major harmony, and here, given the prominent position of C major's fifth degree in the lowest part, perhaps the B should be heard as the leading note of secondary G dominant seventh harmony to C major harmony in the second half of the bar. With this hearing, this E note would be an accented passing note moving from D to F. The B natural, present in the counter subject, which accompanies both answer entries, is the leading note of secondary G dominant seventh harmony to F major's dominant C major. With both of these examples, the second bar of the answer entry forms a voice exchange with this bar of the counter subject, in both instances sounding C major harmony. Voice exchange is often used throughout this fugue as the contours of both subject and answer encourage the use of contrary motion. This fugue subject-answer pair and subject and answer used on their own are non-modulating, with all modulations occurring in the episodes. Only here is the subject's initial note harmonized as a pivot chord sounding as first inversion submediant harmony in D minor and mediant harmony in G minor. Because the answer is only included twice throughout the fugue, Bach regularly uses the subject and stretto, combining them using invertible counterpoint at the octave at this metric location. Here, for example, subject entries in F major combine in thirds, while here subject entries in D minor combine in sixths. From bar 49, Bach also uses a variant subject entry, which includes an extra 16th note forming a lower neighbour note to the first note of this figure. A variant opening of the subject is also used here, where the initial D note of an entry in G minor uses a 16th note value. The 16th note is also used here, where the subject's descent moving from D to B flat is embellished. Probably the main function of the fugue's first episode is to bring the contours of all its parts higher in their registers. The exposition's final subject entry, beginning on the C, means its contour is located very low in the bass stave, with some of its notes sounding below. By the time this entry's final note sounds in bar 13, therefore, the other two parts are also fairly low in the treble stave. Part of Bach's solution is to use the answer's countersubject in the lowest part, as its contour is ascending, peaking on this G before concluding on C. Whether Bach had already written this countersubject against the exposition's answer entry and then used it as the lowest part of this episode, or whether he altered the original answer's countersubject after writing the contour for the episode, we will never know. Either way, it's an effective basis, and with the addition of this B natural, along with the countersubject's existing B, it briefly tonicizes the key of C major before the key of F major returns with this run up to this F note, coinciding with the re-entry of the subject-answer pair. With the lowest part's contour in place, perhaps Bach then wrote the inner part, which moves as a series of perfect fourth leaps followed by descending steps, creating a 3/6 intervallic pattern against the lower line. With the completion of the intervallic pattern, the inner part's register has already moved up an octave to the C, which Bach ties, creating a 9/8 suspension over the countersubject's second B note. He then introduces this descent, moving here between C major's first and third degrees. This descending idea he will use again as the basis of the highest part of the fugue's second episode. In the meantime, he uses a similar descent here, beginning on B flat, which moves a sixth to D. This descent is harmonized as three different chords in the key of F major: C dominant 7th harmony, tonic F major harmony, and subdominant B flat major harmony. To create the episode's upper line, Bach uses a similar idea to the inner part, but this line reverses the note values of the inner part, moving 8th note quarter note. The quarter notes of this ascent move A, C, E to then step down to this D, which Bach ties, creating, as in the inner part a bar earlier, a 9/8 suspension over the bass's C note. Bach appears to have created the upper part as an intervallic pattern against the inner line. Except for this initial fourth forming F major harmony, the middle and upper parts interact as a 3/6/3 intervallic pattern to complete the texture. Perhaps Bach chose this dual intervallic pattern, one interacting between the lowest and middle part, and the other between the middle and upper, because he was writing against the existing contour of the countersubject. The vertical spacing of this C dominant 7th chord and its resolution to F major also means that the 3/6 pattern must begin with this C in the middle part, leaving the upper part to be created. While only the initial F major triad and first inversion G dominant 7th chord should be heard as chords, with the other combinations formed by the interaction of the intervallic patterns, there is an underlying progression whose root notes move up a fifth and down a third to then conclude with a fifth up to the G dominant 7th chord.